Abu Nawas responds to a man who tries to bribe God with gold. Have you ever heard of someone who thought they could bribe God? Yes, you heard that right. Not a politician, not a judge, not even a CEO, but God himself. Imagine someone so proud, so certain of the power of his money, that he truly believed gold could persuade the creator of the universe. It sounds outrageous, doesn't it? And yet, as strange as it may seem, this story is more real to our lives than we might want to admit. Because while we might never stand before God with gold in our hands, many of us act as though success, wealth, and possessions will earn us the peace and blessings our hearts long for. This is the story of a man who tried to bribe God with gold, and of Abu Nawas, man of wit, humor, and timeless wisdom, who gave him an answer that changed everything. Our story takes place not in the deserts of Baghdad, where Abu Nawas is often remembered, but right here in modern-day America, in the bustling heart of New York City. The arrogant businessman meet Richard Harrison, a man whose name was known across Manhattan. Richard was a wealthy jewelry magnate, the owner of several high-end stores on Fifth Avenue. Diamonds, rubies, emeralds, and above all, gold. Richard lived in a world where everything glittered. He wore tailored Italian suits, dined at the most expensive restaurants, and lived in a penthouse overlooking Central Park. But beneath his polished life, Richard was restless. He was terrified of losing his wealth. He feared market crashes, theft, betrayal, and even death itself. He thought to himself, if only I could make sure God himself was on my side, then I would never have to worry again. That thought soon became an obsession. And one winter evening, Richard carried a small golden box, polished to perfection, into a community center in Queens. He had heard that Abu Nawas, the witty and wise man who had become something of a legend in America, was speaking there that night. The room was filled with people, students, workers, mothers. Elders all gathered to listen to Abu Nawas share his stories of wisdom and humor. But before Abu Nawas could even begin, Richard strode to the center of the hall. "The bold declaration, ladies and gentlemen," Richard announced, holding up the golden box so everyone could see it gleam under the lights. "Inside this box lies pure gold. Tonight, I will offer it to God as a gift. And in return, I will ask him to bless my wealth, protect my business, and secure my success forever." Gasps filled the room. Some chuckled nervously, thinking it was a joke. Others frowned, disturbed by the arrogance dripping from Richard's words. But Richard stood tall, convinced he was making the deal of a lifetime. That's when Abu Nawas rose from his chair at the back of the room. He was dressed simply, with eyes that sparkled not with gold, but with mischief and wisdom. He slowly walked forward, the crowd parting for him like a river around a stone. The wit of Abu Nawas, well, Abu Nawas said with a smile, "I've seen many bold men in my life. I've seen men bargain for land, for power, for love. But this is the first time I've seen a man try to bargain with God. Tell me, Richard, how exactly do you plan to deliver this box? Will you mail it to heaven with overnight shipping? Or perhaps set up a wire transfer to the Bank of Eternity?" The crowd roared with laughter. Richard's face turned red, but he lifted his chin proudly. "Laugh if you want, Abu Nawas. But I am serious. Gold moves kings, presidents, even nations. Why should it not move God? After all, it is the most precious thing on earth." Abu Nawas stroked his beard, pretending to think deeply. "Ah, I see. Gold is the most precious thing on earth. Very interesting. But tell me, Richard, who put the gold in the earth to begin with? Did your family? Or was it, perhaps, God?" The room went silent. Richard faltered for just a moment. "Well, of course, God created it. But I earned it. I worked for it. I built my empire with my own hands." Abu Nawas's eyes twinkled. "Your own hands? Did those hands create the sun that rose over your store this morning? Did they create the breath in your lungs that kept you alive to sign your business deals? Did they create the very heartbeat in your chest, No, Richard. Everything you have, Evan, the breath you just wasted arguing with me, belongs to God already. And now you wish to impress him with what is already his. Laughter broke out again, but this time it carried truth with it. Richard's confident smirk began to fade. The heart of the matter still. He tried to defend himself. But Abu Nawas, is it wrong to give God a gift? Surely he is pleased with offerings. Abu Nawas's face softened, and his tone grew serious. It is not wrong to give to God, Richard, but you misunderstand what it means to give. God does not care for your gold or silver. He does not need your wealth. The whole earth and everything in it already belongs to him. What God values is your heart, your humility, your kindness. When you feed the hungry, you are giving to God. When you clothe the poor, you are giving to God. When you comfort the broken, you are giving to God. But when you place gold on an altar, expecting blessings in return, you are not giving, you are bargaining. You are not worshiping, you are bribing. And God does not take bribes. The room fell into a deep silence. Everyone leaned forward, hanging on his every word. Abu Nawas turned and pointed toward the door. Outside, through the frosted window, the crowd could see a homeless man sitting on the sidewalk, shivering in the cold. Ah, if you truly want to give this gold to God, Abu Nawas said softly, then place it in his hands. That man out there has no blanket, no food, no home. When you care for him, you care for God's children. And that, Richard, is the only way your gift will reach heaven. The turning point, Richard's eyes widened. His grip on the golden box tightened. For years, he had believed wealth was his ticket to power, even divine power. But for the first time, he felt the weight of his gold, not as treasure, but as chains. Slowly, trembling, he walked outside. The winter wind bit into his expensive coat as he approached the homeless man. He knelt down, placed the golden box into the man's hands, and whispered, "This belongs to you now." The man looked up, tears welling in his eyes, and whispered back, "God bless you." When Richard returned, his face was changed. The arrogance was gone. His eyes were softer, humbler, almost free. He looked at Abu Nawas and said, "You were right. I came here trying to bribe God, but tonight I learned what it truly means to give." Abu Nawas smiled and raised his cup of tea. "Now, Richard, you are wealthier than you have ever been." The crowd erupted in applause, not for the gold that was given, but for the wisdom that was shared. The lesson for us all. And so, dear listener, remember this. You cannot bribe God with gold. You cannot buy his blessings with money, but you can touch his heart with kindness. You can reach heaven with compassion. You can offer the greatest gift of all, not gold, not silver, not wealth, but love. Because in the end, it is not the treasure in your vaults that matters. It is the treasure in your heart. And that, perhaps, is the greatest wealth of all.